Hi there, beauties. How's everyone feeling today? How are the waves? How are you riding them? I just wanted to remind everyone again after what I posted the other day about the big waves of ups and downs and exhaustion and emotions and the intensity of things that a lot of people, and I think probably nearly everyone here in this group, is feeling. And also to know that it goes in swings and roundabouts. So it can be that you can feel super elated and super energized and on one day, and then you can be really flat and really exhausted and totally wiped out and hardly even able to move the next. It feels to me like we're kind of taking it in turns to transform and transmute stuff because we are all a part of this team, right? And so it's like someone does it, they move through it, they transform it, your own stuff and others, and then you pop through and you feel really good, and then somebody else takes it on. So you might notice that there's days where you're feeling really good, but that people that are around you that are going through similar stuff are out. So it's also to be compassionate and understanding to those, to your family, your brothers and sisters around you that are moving through those waves. And this is why it's so great to have these these like-minded people around you and conversations, so that you can really let yourself be seen with wherever you're at. So much, when all that we've been programmed and conditioned to see is the personhood, being the identity, the ego, the I am Gemma, and this is what I do and this is how I am, and and then it's almost like we've been trained to have to show up and act in a certain way when we're around others or when we're in groups, and that can feel really challenging at times, especially if you find yourself coming to a point, which I know I am, where when I hear it doesn't even matter how conscious circles get, there's always someone talking about someone or having an opinion or a judgment on someone or something, and you want to remove yourself from that, but we have to really get over this thing of still worrying about what other people think if we are not wanting to engage in that, and not coming from a place of preaching or trying to change anyone, but just because it doesn't feel comfortable to be in that old frequency or way of being anymore. But it's a really beautiful thing, because I feel like the more we can connect to our own solidity and our own truth, and this is a really hard process, by the way, because I feel like it's a few steps forward, a few steps back, because it's ingrained into every single human being that we have something around, what others will think, or how we're being judged, or how we're being seen, and then you come to a point where you realize that this is all actually about how you see yourself. If we're constantly analysing and pulling apart and judging the way or the lifestyle of others, and of ourselves, if we're constantly negative self-talking to ourselves and saying, why am I exhausted all the time? Why should I? Why can't I be more this? Why aren't I more that? Or, like that inner being, that inner child is so delicate and so fragile. And I'm speaking to myself as I say this to you as well, because it's definitely something for me that I'm constantly and consistently, and especially now in these times that we've been in, that's been one of the biggest refinements for me, and realizing that actually how the people around you perceive you or see you, why it does our head in so much, is because something I come to learn, it's an unanswered question. You can never actually fill that in, can you? Like, there's no answer to that, and so it causes like a constant search or a looping in the mind as to trying to figure it out, like how I'm perceived, how I'm seen. I don't know if you can hear that down there. Something's going on downstairs with the Vikings. That took me out of my little flow for a second, but yeah, so we need to answer those questions within ourselves by reinforcing how beautiful we are, by reinforcing how much of a good person we are, how loving we are, you know, that we're really sensitive, beautiful. So much Viking action going on downstairs right now. Yeah, and that while we don't get it right all of the time, we do get it right a lot of the time. So it's learning as sensitives and as empaths to be self-sourcing. Yeah, to be really self-sourcing. We come in as light workers, really, actually, with this program of needing approval and validation from others that we're doing a good job, that we're on the right path. And that's where the gold is. That's where the work is really becoming self-sourcing. Yep. And reprogramming, retraining the conversations that we are having with ourselves, because when what we think of us and where we're at on our path and what we have to offer and all of that sort of stuff on every level actually becomes deeply nourishing and really clear, then actually not only will what others think of us not matter, but I believe that we then radiate a certain kind of a presence where we don't get caught up in the dramas, we can be around others, not get caught up in the stuff. And when we clearly, if we need to remove ourselves, or we need to say, oh, it doesn't feel comfortable for me talking about that, or, you know, whatever it might be, because it's coming from a place of embodied truth, it's less likely actually to trigger people. And if it does, it certainly doesn't trigger you. It doesn't wobble us off our center. So there you go. For whatever reason that came through, wasn't intentional, but it did, and I hope it helps. So the most important thing, I think, the key that comes from all of that the most important thing right now is to ask yourself the question: how are you talking to yourself? How are you showing up for yourself in these big times, and how much compassion and understanding are you having yourself? And yeah, perhaps we can try seeing ourselves through the eyes of somebody who loves us unconditionally. And if you don't feel like there's a physical being in your life that does that, then certainly see yourself through the eyes of Source, through the eyes of love. Yeah, with all my love. Bye for now.